Progress is a series of failures.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to do. But we're scared of people pointing out. And to your point, the people that are jeering at you for your imperfections and those kind of things, they're not going to do business with you in any case.
Yeah.
It's a lot of white noise. All of those people. I used to get hate mail. How dare you spend billionaires' money? How do you sleep at night? And I'm like, absolutely perfectly
great.
on a $10,000 mattress.
Right.
You know?
From the grit and the grind to successful minds. Live from the entertainment capital of the world. Your hosts, Jillian Batchelor and Daryl Hannah.
Hey, guys, Jillian Batchelor here.
And Daryl Hannah.
Daryl Hannah, my illustrious business partner, and we are Vegas Real Talk. And today we have some amazing guest speakers.
Right?
We're
Are we
very
going to get
excited
one
to
of those
have.
things?
Yeah, like a
little-
we need it. You guys, we need it. So our guest speakers today, we have our own Courtney Buford, who is on our team. We call him the new home ninja, but that guy knows everything real estate and so much more, jiu-jitsu, and he'll kick your ass if you guys talk on to him.
And if he doesn't kick your ass, he'll shoot you. Either one.
Either one. It's true, you guys. He's packing.
You go right to violence with me. I'm a very kind man.
Well, your license plate says combat, so I don't know.
Combat, you guys. And then we have the man, the myth, the legend. If you don't know who he is, you need to know who he is. Or maybe you're
The
living
main
under a
reason
rock.
we're here today.
Yeah. We have Steve Sims. Steve Sims, you guys, he's a disruptor. He's a connector. He had a celebrity concierge business. We'll let him tell you about that. I mean, this guy has done everything. He's an author, a multiple published author. He has a new book coming out, which we're going to talk about. And you guys just need to know who he is. Steve, tell us about you. You're interesting.
Where do we start? Got to make it interesting. It's not. I'm the same as everyone else. You know, I woke up, realized one day that I was poor, hated it, and went out to try and find a way to connect with people that had money and quite simply find out how they had money and I didn't.
And you're a very cool individual. So I don't know if I would just say you're just like everybody else, but I think you're cool.
No, once you get to know me, no.
But what I like about you is how simple your message is. Really, like, hey, I remember watching you one day and you said, just ask. Don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
I will never forget that. I would think I was at dinner with you and John.
Isn't it crazy that people don't?
Yes.
The
don't.
simplest
They're
thing in the
afraid.
planet.
It's fear. You just hit it.
That's it.
Fear.
It's
you
the
dropped
fear.
the mic. They are afraid. People are afraid to go after what they want in life, right?
Yeah.
They're afraid of no. They're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of everything. Everything that you can be afraid of, people are afraid of, right? Right, Steve? Why? Why does that happen?
I think it's society, and I think it's got worse. You see, especially this sofa here. We remember a period where we didn't have Instagram to point out how inadequate our lives were.
Yeah,
So
true.
we just went about our day, Yeah.
Just,
And we
living in blissful
We didn't
peace.
know what everyone was doing and what they were
Blissful
wearing and what
ignorance.
they were.
Yeah. And I think as we've grown up, we've got into a gotcha society where people are trying to grab that soundbite that makes someone sound stupid, makes someone sound rude, ignorant, something. And we love to point and jeer. And so what's happening is we're actually getting terrified of actually having a conversation for fear that someone's going to misconstrue it or soundbite it
Yeah.
or make us look dumb or cancel you. The whole cancel
Or
culture.
not use you as a client, right? You're an agent.
Bingo.
You're a sales. They're like, I don't want to do anything to like put myself
Everyone's
out
so terrified that what they're doing is actually not trying anymore. They're not asking. They're not speaking. They're not conversing.
Yeah.
And I think
Makes
that's
sense.
stupid.
It is stupid.
And that can be in so many different ways in people's lives. I mean, it literally affects every single aspect. From dating, people are afraid to approach that person. I was at the gym this morning. This just brings us up with my trainer. She's gorgeous. She's educated. She's beautiful. She's a wonderful woman. She goes, "Oh, I think this guy's out of my league." And I go, "Wait a second. You're gorgeous. Like, he is not out of your league. You're smart. You're educated. You're a nice person. You're kind. You're not a gold digger."
There shouldn't be anybody out of her league.
No,
really.
no one's out
I
of your
mean,
league. And she goes, "Oh, no, I can't talk to him." I go after him. So it's exactly to your point. She didn't want to make the move because she's afraid. And she's a wonderful, wonderful woman.
Yeah.
And then people always afraid to ask for the promotion, always afraid to ask for just
the business.
the
For the-
acceleration.
Yeah, that's the classic
That's
one.
the one, right.
That's the one. And the trouble is, you're not actually, let's break it down. We're actually not frightened of asking. We're frightened of the rejection or the potential.
What they're gonna
laughter.
say.
That's exactly it.
You're afraid of getting shot down.
Yeah.
Someone won't make that ask.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing is, my wife actually said to me, we had a party in Hollywood years ago, and we had two of the characters from the upcoming, at the time, Marvel franchise.
Okay.
And they did this little party. I think you know this story. They did this table game. They turned around and said, "Look, we've now got this gig. We're doing the market." And it took off. So they're big celebrities now. But they turned around and they said, "If you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?" And I had this little dinner party. We had about 12 people there. Jay was there.
Okay.
And so they went around the table, and I'm sitting there going, I've got to think of something that makes me sound intelligent.
Right.
Which, let's be serious, the superpower all guys want is to be able to see through ladies' clothes.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
This is
But
true.
you couldn't say
You
that.
can't say that. You can't say that.
And so I was thinking of like, okay, removing poverty with the flick of my wrist, and some arsewipe said it before me.
Oh, no.
So I'm trying to think of it. Got to me. I'm still trying to think of something that would make me sound smart. And Claire turns around and she said, "Oh, I've got it. I can look after you, babe. Nothing better than your wife saying good things about you." So I turned around and I went, "Go on then, Claire. Go for it." And she turned around and she went, "His superpower is easy. He's ignorant."
Oh.
And I thought, shit.
Oh, I remember.
You're
that.
I
like,
thought, I'm going to get divorced. I really thought. And you could feel the temperature of the table change. And Claire caught it and she turned around and she went, no, whoa, hang on a minute. Has he ever done anything? And you've gone, how the hell did he pull that off? How did he do this at the Vatican? How did he do this with Elton John? Because he was ignorant to it going any other way than the way he had envisioned.
No
Then-
fear,
Exactly.
basically.
Yeah.
There was kids.
It's
they
going
have
to
no
be
fear.
successful.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, we train them to be scared. Don't touch the kettle; it's hot. Don't slam the door; you catch your finger.
Don't say the wrong thing. Don't do that. Don't do
we
that.
teach them all of that.
We teach them fear.
But if you're ignorant to that, you just go for
Yeah.
it. And quite often, I've been sat in a room with people that I can call friends, and I've gone, how the hell did a bricklayer from London end up
Did
here?
I get in this
Right.
room? I've
But-
got that. How did I get in this room?
But ignorance is bliss. And I
is.
think we kind of need to bring a little bit of it back.
We do.
Sure.
We do.
I love that. Okay, so let's
Wow.
recapture that. Ignorance is bliss. You're right, because so many times we shut ourselves out of what should happen.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
no, we can't
It's
do
us.
it. We can't do it. We can't do it. So we predetermine the outcome by not doing it, by not taking the chance. Let's take the chance, you guys.
Well, and that's what, when I was in Manhattan
Yeah.
at your speakeasy, and D-Rock was there from Gary V. And, that was his big thing was, stop worrying what people are thinking about you. Just
Yeah.
stop. No one, at the end of the day, no one cares.
We said no one cares like 10
No
times.
one
Yeah,
cares.
No one cares.
No one
one's-
cares until they care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for all those people that don't care, don't try to change their mind.
Yeah.
Just let them go off. Reach
you.
the people that you can relate and connect with,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then amplify that. There are
100%.
billions of people in the planet.
Yeah.
If you get a miniature percentage of those
Yep.
that can relate to you,
Boom.
you're still a billionaire.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. 100%.
I love it. Okay, so Steve, I know that I want to change this up just a little bit here. I know that you've done some really cool things in your life that I think are very cool, that most people think are very cool. And part of that was a little bit of your concierge business, and I want to talk about what is either the oddest request or the coolest request that you were able to fulfill for a client. Because what I loved about you, and I want you to tell people a little bit about what you did, let's call it in your past career, past life, what you did, because I don't think people understood
That's
exactly
part of
what
the
you did
journey
for-
to where you're at now.
yeah, for celebrities.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you did, like what specifically you handled for clients, and then give us like the oddest or the coolest or the weirdest request.
So I basically ran a concierge by default. I was a doorman of a nightclub, and I just wanted to hang around with wealthy people. So it started off getting them into clubs, closing the door so they could stay afterwards, getting them into premieres, getting them in a fashion show.
You
that
became the
kind
kind of
stuff.
go-to cool guy.
Yeah, I was the guy. but I only-
Exclusivity.
It's
I like
nice
it.
to have those guys
Yeah.
in the nightclub business,
I just wanted to do it to have the conversation with them.
Yep.
If I could get you into that premiere or get you backstage at a concert, then I had your attention for an hour
For sure.
to find out how come you were successful.
For sure.
It went from that to ending up doing like drum lessons with Guns N' Roses, piano lessons with Elton John. I had a couple that wanted to get married at the Vatican by the Pope. So I ended up, it just grew. I ended up working for the New York Fashion Week, Grammys, a whole bunch. Basically, arrogantly, I would say that it wasn't for a 20-year period a major event in the planet that I didn't have my fingers in. Wow. Whether it was Macau, Bologna, Stade, Monaco. I was literally on a plane every 2 weeks flying around to these
Wow.
things.
And you did that for 20 years?
20, yeah, just over
That is
25
awesome.
years.
What were the time periods? Give me the years.
So this was 94 was the first time that we actually did something.
Okay.
And it wasn't until 97, and I was working for this little car company called Ferrari.
Okay, we've heard
And
of
it was
them.
their 50th anniversary in Monaco. And at that time, I was actually saying to Claire, this is a funny thing. I used to say to Claire, don't worry, I'll get a real job soon. And, we were doing very well. We had a penthouse in Geneva, everything was good. She turned around and she said, you've got a job. You just don't realize it. but I did it to
But you know what they
make those
say? They say
connections.
you never work a day in your life if you love what you do.
That's right.
And it sounded
I'm
like you were
not quite
having
sure
fun,
I always
right?
loved it. I was having fun.
I don't think you loved it the whole time.
Yeah,
did you?
no, I definitely didn't because as Courtney knows me well enough, I don't actually like too much of the limelight. You know?
But did you like it in the beginning and then it kind of
Oh,
wore
at
on
the
you?
beginning it was novel as
Yeah,
hell.
so
at
in the beginning you were having fun, and then it
I'm
was kind of like,
strolling
oh,
down
this
red
is...
carpets. I'm backstage. I'm hanging out with who's who. My dad was always a great fan of Elton John.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
sitting there on the steps.
I mean, he's
just
one of the
chatting to Elton
greatest in the
John.
world.
And I'm thinking, I wish my dad was alive to see
Right,
this, you
right.
know?
Oh, but I'm sure your dad was watching.
He was watching.
Maybe having a little drink up there, saving one for me. But those times were good. As it got on, it did get a bit weirder.
Yeah.
Some of the people that I dealt with, let's just say that if I wrote that book, I'm not quite sure I'd make it to tonight. You know, I dealt with some colourful characters.
Well, and that's the thing, because anybody who you had then been known as kind of the exclusivity of, if you want something, you can get it done, you'd get it done for them. So you'd have to think that people would say, oh, well, Steve's not going to say no. Steve's going to find a way. He's going to find a way, because that's really who you are as a person.
That's what
you're
they were
going to
doing.
find a
At some
way
point,
to
it
make it
becomes
happen.
more of like a grind.
And so,
Like a-
but I'm saying is that people would have to think, well, I'm going to give him the oddest, weirdest, because Steve will find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
If
'Cause
anybody
he
on the
always does.
planet can make this happen.
You're right about that.
So-
People will try to dig for that weird thing.
They
And-
will.
See if
yeah.
you could pull it off.
And see if you
Yeah.
pull it off. So is there anything you can tell us that was maybe not,
Maybe something you couldn't pull off that somebody wanted done. Has that ever happened?
Well, the good thing is, here's something that you can learn. Anyone in sales needs to understand this. Never give anything that the client's asking for.
Okay.
Anyone out there in sales need, and this, let's speak about the real estate.
Okay.
Okay. Your client doesn't know what they don't know. That's your job.
For sure. That's what
So
you
when the client's
deliver.
there going, "Hey, I want this street because it's the trendiest," you know it's not. You know, I want to be here because I want a quiet life. You know it's not quiet.
Yeah.
They take you on because you're the experts in there.
Yeah.
So the first thing is never give a client what they ask for. Give them what they desire.
And what they need, yeah.
Yeah. And most people don't know what they need.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had...
They
I
think
had a-
they do, but then that's your
think
job
they
to
do.
make sure they
Bingo.
understand it. Yeah.
So I've never failed at getting someone anything that they asked for because I never gave it to them. I had a client that wanted to meet the rock band Journey backstage. I thought that was crap, so I put him on stage, and he actually sang on stage, sang 3 tunes with them, and is now registered as the shortest-term lead singer of the rock band
Oh, wow, that's great.
Journey. I always try to see, okay, I'm hearing what you are asking for, but what can I give
But you actually went
Yeah.
above and beyond.
How can I take it further? Yeah.
I love
So
that.
that's the way I've always worked.
Okay.
So no, never failed because I never gave them it.
Wow.
So to 94 to, what we're saying, 2014?
It was probably about three and a half years ago that, we started to peter down on Bluefish. And which was good because obviously a year and a half later, what happened? This thing
COVID.
called COVID.
COVID, right.
So it was so opportune for us at that time. But yeah, we had a good 20-year cycle on there, 20+ year cycle.
So why was it called Bluefish? What's behind the name?
We used to, so one of the things that I did was I wanted to make sure that no one got into anything that I was involved in. I'm always very cautious, and you guys know this because of the speakeasies.
Yeah.
I'm always very careful of the room I'm in. You know,
And you don't take everybody that signs up.
No,
to this.
no,
You
absolutely
actually
not.
say, thank you for your money, but here's your money back because you don't fit.
Absolutely. we basically communicate with everyone that registers because we want to make sure that room's right.
Yep.
If you sell out that room, you never have that room again.
True.
Now, hey, there's been a couple of times we've got it wrong and a couple of people have ended up on that list. But we're
Nashville.
always very focused on that. One of the things that we used to do when you're dealing with a standard of client who become entitled, we started making up these little passwords. And the little passwords, look, when you get to the doorman, you got to name one of the Teletubbies. Or when you get there, you got to finish this Dr. Zeus saying, 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish. So you had these people that were incredibly wealthy turning up to a private party in Macau or Stade or Monaco or Palm Beach, walking up to the doorman to some meathead and going, Tinky Winky, or
Yeah.
Bluefish. And that's how it took off. And the funny thing is, we 9 times out of 10 don't know how good we are. Okay? We like
I
to
would
think,
attest
but
that.
we don't know what our secret sauce is. And I remember one of the bartenders once said to me, she said, you are so good at curating that room and making sure they walk in with a smile. And I said, well, I'm not doing that. Yes, I'm making sure that there's no ego. But she said, whenever you, and you know this from jiu-jitsu, okay? And we both know this from that. when you walk into a gym, when you walk into a dojo, when you walk into a boxing club or something like that, you're all there for the same reason, but everyone's checking you out.
Oh, yeah.
It's that playground again,
Yeah.
isn't it? You're the new kid on the playground. Fuck are you?
And be
You
like,
know?
can I kick that dude's ass?
Yeah, it's that. That was the exact same. When you walk into a nightclub, you know, you better look in the mirror, you're a bit so you got a better chair than me. There's
Oh, yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay? But everyone that ever walked into one of my parties was giggling because they just told a meathead, Tinky Winky or Puff.
Yeah.
That's true.
So as everyone was walking into the room, they were chuckling, going, I can't believe I own a shipping company, but
And
I
I
just
just
had
said
to come
this.
up
Yeah.
with like who
Tell
the lion
me.
was out of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And they said that it created this kind of removal of ego.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
everyone was happy.
No, I felt that when we were at that little underground bar.
But did
in
you know who the
Manhattan.
Teletubbies were?
It was so everyone could talk, and no one really felt like they were
There's
better
no
than
ego.
anybody else. We were all there.
don't allow
Yeah,
egos.
I felt that.
You know, the thing about Steven, it's his speakeasy event, which was what we're talking about, is the room. When he's talking about the room, it's not just the speakers in his room. That's the first thing I learned the first time I went to one of his speakeasies, was I wasn't paying attention necessarily to the people that were sitting in the room with me. I mean, I was friendly. I was more focused on the speakers. Well, when I was focused on the speakers, I didn't realize the guy that's sitting next to me is, you know, Lance Armstrong's mental coach. And this guy over here owns 4 companies. And this guy over here is, has written 10 books. Like, it's just insane, the people
That you're around.
That you're around. And so, you know, the lesson I learned is don't discount anyone.
Yeah.
Make sure that you treat everybody with that same level of respect, and you can learn from anybody. I mean,
For sure.
the room is super important.
You got potential lifelong relationships sitting right next
Already,
to you.
yeah, for
Yeah.
But
sure.
if you're so
Yeah,
focused on
absolutely.
just the speakers, you don't allow yourself to talk. And
Exactly right.
Yeah, and that
I've actually had speakers pull me aside before they've gone up and they've like, how am I speaking up there?
Yeah, to them.
Because you've got this guy here, you've got this guy here, you've got this guy here. And I'm like, yeah, but you've got something different. And everyone's got something different.
100%.
So, Courtney, you've been to a couple of Steve's events, a couple of the speakeasy events. I know that you're
few more than a couple.
I've been to
coaching.
6,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, give us some of the best tidbits that you've taken from that.
You know, so a couple things. So same thing. So San Francisco, very first one I went to, it was 2019, I think, or 18. The biggest thing I got from him was what I do today, which is video. I'm really big on video for my business, for my brand, for all that stuff. I had not done video until I met this guy. And the reason I met this guy,
Even
is
though
because-
for years I pushed you to do it.
Yeah, Daryl, literally,
It's always
Daryl,
someone,
5-6 years before
Do
told me
it.
to do video.
Do the
but
video, do the
to
video.
your point, so I was watching John Gafford, our broker, do some what do you call it, promotion for an event he was doing, and he's talking to Steve, and Steve's talking about what he does. I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, he looks like somebody I'd ride bikes with. I ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
Like, he looks
Yeah.
like a guy I would
Yeah.
ride with.
Yeah.
100%. He's a regular guy, and he's doing these ridiculous things. I'm like, I got to meet him.
Yeah.
And I literally went to the event
I remember
just
that.
to meet him. That's it. Went right to the hospital after that because I was sick. But that's where our relationship started. I bought every product he owned that day. And then I went to his...
There's a funny story behind that.
That
You know
is-
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so I'm
Tell that story.
So I'm on stage. Yeah, John had this event, and it was up at the M, wasn't it? The
was
M
the M.
Hotel.
It was the M, yeah.
So I'm at this event. John Gafford was actually speaking at the same event, and this guy comes up to me, and I had a few. Whenever you come off stage, you always get a bunch of people say, "Hey, can I take your photograph?" Yeah, sure. So you go through that, and then I had to quickly get to the airport because I was going back home to LA, and I'm at the airport, and Claire said to me, she said, "Well, you made an impact on Courtney," and I'm like.
Who?
Exactly.
I don't know who you're on about. And she's like, well, he's bought everything that we have. Now, some of the things that we have, you get the other things included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'd kind of gone overboard.
Where's my check? Then?
And and so I said to Claire, I said, well, who's the guy's name? You know, give me the name. Let me check him out. So I'm checking him out, looking through, trying to find the event, found a couple of pictures at the event, found his Facebook page of him in hospital with all of these like plugs and drips in him and stuff like that. And I reached out to you, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah.
And what was
That's
it
what was
actually
amazing
happened?
about that.
Something happened.
So I
Someone
had
poisoned him.
So I thought I had appendicitis. Turns out I had. Weeks later, I found out it was a hernia. They actually thought I had cancer. They thought I had appendicitis. Turns out I just had a hernia. But I literally, the day after I took that picture with you, I got in my car, drove to the hospital, or drove home, grabbed a bag, and went to the hospital.
Wow.
Like half
It
an hour.
was crazy. So to say that he bought everything because he was under drugs and fear of
Yes.
death, you know, but anywhere that it helps. He thought, I ain't going to have to pay the credit card bill. I'll buy everything.
Yep.
Right,
But
exactly.
yeah,
Dying.
that's how we started.
Yep, for
That's
sure.
how you guys met, right?
For
I mean,
sure,
that's like
yep.
the official kickoff to your
It
guys'
is.
relationship.
It is.
Yeah, it's a great
It is. And he
story.
introduced me to a guy that day, Dennis Yu, which is
Dennis Yu.
a huge guy in marketing in general. Super smart guy, but from that day forward, I've never not done video.
And you know, they say, and it's so true. This is the perfect example of this: is that if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yep.
And I love that because that's exactly what the epitome is that I'm taking from this. Is like, if you're going to one of Steve Sims' rooms, you're not going to be the smartest guy in the room, and you shouldn't be.
No.
No.
You're there to learn. You're there to
Right.
learn.
You may be a super smart guy, and you may be
wealthy
know,
and successful.
well, you
and
will be.
accomplished.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be
everybody's
in that
just
room.
kind of
Yeah.
smart in their own field. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
I love it. All right, so Steve, so tell us a little bit about your newest book that's coming out. It's Go for Stupid: The Art of Achieving Ridiculous Goals. Why do I need to achieve these ridiculous goals? How's this going to help me? Tell me about it. What should I do? When can I get it? All the things.
October the 18th, it comes out. It's going to be on Amazon, or you can go to Steve D. Sims to find out where you can grab or buy it directly from the website. But this is a book that basically came out of me being pissed off.
Oh, wait. You pissed off? I feel like that's shocking.
Steve Sims
Just
pissed
don't
off.
see
We
it.
had COVID.
He gets mad.
And do you remember how
Yes, I can see
COVID,
it.
the first thing people were saying was, I can't go out with my mates, or
Yeah.
I can't go. How many fat people were there going, I can't go to the gym now?
Yeah.
Yet they can't even spell gym.
Right.
You know? Yet it was a great excuse for so many people
Yeah.
for them to avoid doing stuff.
Keyword excuse.
Yeah, excuse. And it just annoyed me. And then as you were saying earlier, we get a no for every question we don't ask.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, we'll sit there and we'll go, hey, I'd love to do this. That takes 1 second?
Right.
Yeah.
And then we'll spend the next 10 minutes telling ourselves why we can't
we
do
can't.
it. And that just aggravated me. And so I started talking to some of my friends, and I got some pretty cool friends, and you know Joe Polish and Brian Smith and Elon Musk and I started talking to these people and going, how many people laughed at you when you were? And Elon actually once turned around
sure.
and said to me, they'll always laugh at you just before they applaud. And I realized, and we brought this up earlier, we're actually not scared of actually asking or trying.
You're scared of the answer.
We're scared of people seeing us fail. How many people today? Look at one of our biggest programs.
So like out in public, like
Out in public. Here's an example for you. Elon Musk, he released that Cybertruck.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Everyone remembers that. The following day, it made headline news. What was the headline news about the Cybertruck?
That the
ugly
windshield.
ass truck.
Well, and that the windshield broke. They threw the rock
Oh,
at it, and the
right,
windshield.
right.
broke.
Windshield broke.
It wasn't how great the truck was.
No.
It wasn't all the good things about it. It was the one failed portion.
The only thing that truck shared with anything else on the road was that it had rubber tires.
Right.
Everything else had been changed, from the composite, from how it was put, the shape, absolutely everything. But hey, we didn't want to reward him
No.
for his thought, for him daring to be different. No, we want to ridicule him because the bulletproof glass didn't work. If you're buying a truck because it's got bulletproof glass, you don't need a truck. You need a
You need a
different
limo
zip code.
with like a 4
You
inch.
need to move.
Right,
You know?
You know, yeah, you
You're
need
in
to
the
be-
wrong
yeah.
area.
Yeah, or you need armed guards with you
And
in all
that was
places.
the whole point.
But
We
99%
wanted
of
to
what
laugh
he did
at
was
him.
great, and 1% failed, and we focused
That
on the
made the
1%.
headlines.
We want to
Now,
focus on the bad thing.
Did you see the video that he released afterwards where he had 3 doors held up and he went from like a projectile to a gun to like a missile launcher at the windows, and it didn't go through each one? Did you see that video?
I didn't
No.
see that. No.
No one did.
Yeah, 'cause
no
it
one
didn't
give a
make the
shit.
news.
We've already laughed at him.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
We don't want to see that now he's succeeding.
We
is
don't
what
want to
just
see it
laughed at
work.
him.
We want to point and stare at. We watch everything from America's funniest videos because people walk into the doors.
'Cause it
We
looks
like
stupid.
taking the mickey out of Real Housewives of wherever because we want to ridicule. We watch the
Ridiculousness.
Kardashians. We love to point, stare, and laugh, and it's subconsciously stopping us from actually trying things.
Yeah.
And I
Because
want
we're
to be
learning,
here and go,
because we're
look.
learning that that's the outcome.
It's so true.
Yeah,
I never really
I don't
thought of
care.
it that way, but it's so true.
True, though. We're in a gotcha
I've always
society.
thought, Instagram, Facebook, it has made these people just seem bigger than life.
Yeah,
How could I ever measure up to that? I'm not doing a video. I'll never be like those people.
Yep.
But it really does come down to we're afraid of people making fun of us.
We absolutely are. Most people don't do videos today because they're terrified of what they look like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I have to stop you for 1 second. We just talked about this yesterday. We were talking about our social media podcast. We just talked about this. And what did we say? I said yesterday on the social media podcast, I said, guess what, you guys? Do a video because what you look like is what you look like. What you sound like is what you sound like.
Yeah.
And I said on there, I said, now actually, because we have a videographer for our team, for our real estate team.
sitting right
And
over
I
there.
said in a lot of cases now, I do mine with one take. And he asked me if he wants them edited. And I said, no, it's okay. Because in my thought process, and maybe I'm totally wrong, is if I fumble a word, if I misspeak something, it actually makes me more human, more relatable. I say post it.
But it's also
doesn't need
who
to be
cares? Who
perfect.
cares if
Yeah,
somebody sees
I
my
say
call?
post
Like
it.
whatever.
Post
Like,
it. When I fumble a word or I misspeak or I stutter or something, I say post it anyways. It just makes me more relatable. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect and polished. And there might be some people that are like, you're completely wrong, Jillian. You're freaking crazy. You're done. But I think it makes me more human.
Yeah.
If I stumble a word, great. Then people are going to be like, oh, she's real.
I remember the first time I did, after I came back from San Francisco, I did a video, and it was the first time I was talking to the camera without anything, just talking. And he sends me a message. He goes, I saw your video, and I was like, oh, cool. I was like, what'd you think? I was just waiting for you to show up. Because you said that I was stiff.
Kinda
It wasn't being
scripted,
me.
kinda-
Scripted, fake. Just
Not Courtney.
Exactly. What I thought people wanted to see as opposed to who I was.
Yeah. And I think we all do that in the very
For
beginning.
sure.
But
sure.
the more you
We
do
don't
it,
know.
the more comfortable you get, the more
100%.
you know, like
this,
me.
This comes down to the mantra of every entrepreneur that they should all wear a t-shirt on. The first time you try anything, it'll be shit.
Yeah.
You should have that mantra. The first time you did a podcast, the first time you did a video,
For
the
sure.
first time you showed someone a house.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
You know, compared
Horrible.
to how you are now,
Yeah.
you look back at it and you go, oh,
I remember my first
God.
contract I wrote. Like I didn't know what to
Shaky.
do. I
Yeah.
had to go ask people. Like I don't know what to put in this blank.
Right.
Like we're all that way.
Yep.
Like it's
Yeah.
just the way it is. But you just have to throw yourself out there and start doing it.
Progress is a series of failures.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to do. But we're scared of people pointing out. And to your point, the people that are jeering at you for your imperfections and those kind of things, they're not going to do business with you in any case.
Yeah.
It's a lot of white noise. All of those people. I used to get hate mail. How dare you spend billionaires' money? How do you sleep at night? And I'm like, absolutely
I sleep
perfectly
great.
on a
Yeah, I sleep great.
$10,000 mattress.
Right.
You know? I'm absolutely fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And you're never going to talk to that guy.
See, and
You're
the
never
thing-
going to
gonna
do
afford
business.
you.
Yeah.
Well, and the funniest thing is like, I feel like the good thing about social media and those platforms out there is I have fallen in love with people, literally like that I'm like, I love that woman. I love that man.
And
I feel
never
like that's
met
my
him.
best friend. I've never met him.
Right.
And I like when they're more natural. I like when they're sitting back, they're relaxed. They're not sitting behind a perfect desk. I like when they're showing me the ups and the downs. I like when the women are walking through and their house is a mess and their kids are screaming in the background and they're just trying to get their hustle on. I like when it's imperfect. I didn't always, but I have come to find myself liking when people are more natural because I'm like, oh, now I know, like, and trust that person because I like them as a person.
Right.
They might be the best.
Do you
realtor,
know
too,
that that's because psychologically we've changed over the last 2 years?
No, tell me more. But I
Our
would believe
tolerance levels actually got less. You see, a few years, we're all in sales.
that. Yep.
You know, do you remember when you're in a store and someone starts talking to you and you're thinking, oh my God, he's going to try and sell me. And all of a sudden they start going down a funnel and you're like, that's pretty sweet. You know you're being sold to,
Yep.
but you want to
You have
see
a
where...
new appreciation for it.
Yeah, and you're
Totally,
like, that's
totally.
pretty good. I've just bought a comb.
Yep.
I don't need it, but that was such a good close.
Yep.
I bought a comb. Now, because of COVID, politics, rallies, marches, conversations, anger, we're not tolerant to that anymore. So we want things quick. We want to understand those things. Nowadays, we don't trust
Yeah.
media.
Right.
We don't
We
trust
don't, not at all.
what we see. So when we see something and it's got some kind of relatability, you know, the kids, the collar up, you know, 5 o'clock show, we're like, I trust that.
Yep.
Because that's relatable. I understand it. Person looks a little bit chubby on camera.
Right.
We all do, you know?
Yeah, because
We're
to
happy
your
with
point, yeah,
that.
because I think when things are too polished or too perfect, people think, oh no, that's fake.
We look past it.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
We actually don't trust
it's
it now.
fake. It looks, it's too done. Like when I see all these girls with all their retouched photos online, I'm like, oh no, I want to just see something more natural. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I don't, like you said, I don't trust
Filter
it.
yourself to your face is melting.
Yeah.
Oh, the filter stuff.
So weird.
It
So
is.
weird.
It is absolutely. So anyone in sales should understand that the tolerance, and like any speaker, and we all speak on stages, okay?
yep.
The first rule of any speaker is what is the temperature of the room?
Yes.
Know the audience you're speaking to.
Yep.
So when you're doing a video, know who you're talking to and realize straight off the bat, It ain't about you.
Yeah. No.
It's about your content. It's
sure.
about your message. You could get out of bed and you got your old jams on, you got your coffee, but if what you're going to say is going to help someone else, then that's a perfect video.
And how many of those videos are so impactful? Some guy sitting in his car, never saw him before, but you just watch his first 5 words out of his mouth and you're like, oh, I'm watching this guy.
I know.
Like,
That
what
hook,
made
it's a
me
hook
watch
point.
it?
I
But
know.
it's like you said,
Yeah.
there's something he said that's relatable that makes you
Sort of
keep
matters.
watching.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
where the power of TikTok came in, just as an example. Is, they were these short form videos.
1 minute, yeah.
And before Instagram, got into it and everything. And it was, some are funny, some are inspirational, some are, live videos, whatever. But it was, I feel like, a way where everybody could be on the same platform and be relatable.
And you didn't have to watch a 14-minute long
No.
video. It was like
Right.
you knew it was only going to be a minute.
Well, that's the other thing. Psychologically, we are growing to want and demand more consumption. We're actually trying to find where can I consume more? Where are more things coming? That's why there's more social platforms being born
Yeah.
every single day. Now, a lot of them will be bust by the end of the week and they would have disappeared.
Right.
But our demand as human beings for more media is actually going past our ability to actually consume.
Wow.
We're actually not. Our cognitive ability isn't advancing as much as the demand. It's like you literally, you're in a drought, you need a drink, and you're now trying to sip water out of Niagara Falls.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where we are today. And for that reason, what we need is clarity. Because we've got heightened lack of tolerance. We've got a demand for more consumption, but we can't cognitively hold it in.
Right.
So we need things to be clearer. What do you do? What is the solution?
Yep.
What can you give me? How can you help me?
And how
So
quickly
those-
can you deliver that?
So those first 5 words are more important. That's
Yeah.
what we used to say. Oh, you got 10 seconds to make an impact. No, you win. You got 3 at best.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
someone needs to see you, hear you, and relate to you, and go, okay, what's he got? And then you've got to get to it quick. So you've got to understand that whenever you're doing anything now.
Yeah.
I agree
Wow.
with that.
Love it. Yeah, it's absolutely 100%.
Well, it's so powerful, and I think it's just retraining our brains to the psychology of what is happening today. And
Yeah.
it's so different than what it was a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 years
Oh,
ago.
yeah.
A year or two ago, my husband would say, turn on the news in the morning, and I would always say, turn off the news. I don't trust the news. I don't want to listen to the news. But I'd rather watch... And I used to tell people, I get my news from Facebook, or I get my news from Instagram, or I don't want to watch some
Negative
mass-produced
and- yeah.
TV show, channel that out there is to sell.
well, and the
narrative.
news is negative, right?
Do
Because
you know
that's what
Peter
sells.
Diamandis?
It was what?
Do you know who Peter Diamandis is? Do you know
No,
Peter Diamandis? Yeah.
I
He's
don't.
the guy behind the X Prize, the guy that put up $10 million for the first reusable, and then Richard Branson did the Virgin Galactic out of it.
Oh, wow.
Genius of a guy, the X Prize Foundation. Peter, if you're watching this, hello, buddy. And he said to me, because we were talking about something, and I said about, the news, and he said, don't watch it. And I said, but you focus on technology and what's going on in the world. He said, the news isn't what's going on in the world. The news is what is bad
Yes.
going on in the world.
Yeah.
He said, why do you wake up all invigorated that it's a fresh day, it's a new day, the sun's come up, you're above soil. These are all good
You're
things.
ready to go kick ass.
You're
Yeah,
above soil.
and then what happens is you spend the next 2 hours depressing yourself,
Right.
Yeah.
only for them at the last 3 minutes to show you how a 3-legged dog has now got a new leg.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and that last 3 minutes is supposed to overcome the doom and gloom,
Of the first 27.
and then you've got to spend the rest of the time trying to get out of that
yourself
slump.
up, yep.
He said, "Don't watch the news in the
Oh, for
morning.
sure.
If
That's why
it's
I said I won't
important,
watch it.
someone will text it to you.
Yeah,
or,
or
You'll-
get
or you'll see it on
Facebook.
It'll be, it'll be
Social
impossible
media or
to not
something.
see, Right.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So I
absolutely.
can never watch it anymore.
No.
Yeah,
I don't
never
watch
watch the news. My big tip, never watch news in the morning. I wake up, me and Claire step out into our yard with our dogs, drink coffee, and just chat for the day.
Absolutely.
And then I'm ready.
I love that.
I love it.
So Steve, give us a couple of tidbits. If people want to go out and get your book, give us some of the nuggets that are in this book that I should know.
We actually try to confront what it is you're going for and then try to get you to go for ridiculous by giving you examples of other people that did. Do you know they tried to ban the car because they said that the car will never take off? They literally tried to boycott Henry Ford from producing a car because it was a ridiculous idea. Because, hey, the cars can't go through the woods like our horses can.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tried to ban the light bulb. They tried to ban coffee as a hallucinogenic
Coffee?
drug. You know, there were so many times that people have actually tried. People with opinions that don't matter have ended up trying to steer what's possible.
Well,
the
'cause
whole
they're
point of the
thinking
book
small.
is what I've done, how I've done it. So I break down how I've been able to build up these kind of relationships with people, while at the same time attacking the gotcha society we're in. If I want to know something and you have the answer, I find that while I don't know the answer, I'm stupid and ignorant, but I've only got to reach out and say, hey, Courtney, how come people say this?
Right.
And Courtney can turn around and say, oh, it's this. Now I'm educated.
Yeah.
But today we're terrified of looking stupid.
And what do you think about people when they try to go find answers like on Google? Like everything's Google. Google it.
Well, it's the
Google
Google
it.
God. No one, the classic line is, oh, you want me, Google me. No one's ever gone, hey, Yahoo me.
Right.
You
True.
know,
It's
no one's
true.
a Netscape me.
Nope.
No one does that. It's the funny thing is, people now rely and trust Google, which is a paid platform
Right.
Yeah.
for other people to put shit out there.
Yeah.
It's
So you can put out there what you want to
hysterical.
put out there.
You
Well,
do.
And so the big thing I know, what I'm hearing from you here is mindset. And it's so funny because I know we've all been guilty of it. I've been guilty of it myself. Oh, I can't lose X amount of weight. Oh, I can't make this kind of money. Oh, I could have never imagined I could have this or have this lifestyle or have this or be as great as. And as you start achieving those things, though, then your mindset starts to change. Oh, I can do more. Oh, I can do more. But it's slow. And that's at best. It's slow pace at best. Most people just get such stuck in status quo and stuck of saying, this is the life I was supposed to have. This is what I'm supposed to do. I worked this regular 8-to-5 job, or I married, my high school sweetheart 'cause that's what I was told I was going to do. And so many people are living unhappy and unfulfilled, unhappy and unfulfilled because this is what they're taught they are supposed to do. And they're afraid of taking the risk, which is exactly what you're saying, taking the risk of, oh, I always wanted to invent something, but people are going to laugh at my invention. Oh, I always wanted to chase after this girl, but she's out of my league. Or I always wanted to, go into this business, but it's completely opposite. I'll tell you this. I have a sports medicine massage therapist, guy I love. And a really cool, very outgoing, very bubbly guy, very cool guy. And I said to him, just in conversation, what'd you do before this? I was one of the top interrogators for the military. I tortured people for a living. Now, this is a guy who now does sports medicine massage therapy. You would never think that. And he goes, I was trained to go into the military. I was trained to go up the rank, to get to the best I was going to get, to do what I was supposed to do. And he goes, and they were training me to torture people to get answers. And he goes, I'm all about my country, defending our country. If that's what it takes, that's what I'm going to do. He goes, one day I woke up and I realized I am not fulfilled doing this. I mean, I torture people for a living, and you have to, so many things come along with that. You have to shut down your psyche and everything. And he goes, I want to help people. And he goes, and people in the military laughed at me. Now think about, this is a trained torturer for the military. And he's saying, I want to get out and be a massage therapist. They're looking at him like he's fucking crazy. They're like, are you pussy, you this, you're that, all these different things, they're going to say. And he goes, I just didn't want to do it anymore. And he took a huge pay cut. It laughed up by all of his buddies who were big, strong, tall military guys. And now he's one of the best sports medicine doctors and helps people and makes good money, but not compared to what he was doing.
Right.
But because he just was unfulfilled and people were laughing at him. You're going to leave. You're one of the best, you're black ops basically.
But a lot of people
calling you
won't
in.
leave that position
won't.
because they feel safe.
And they're comfortable. He had been in the military.
I have a good friend of mine, Joe Polish, and he definitely put it best like this. He turned around and said, the definition of hell is to meet the man or woman that you could have been if you took a chance.
So true.
Just
So
imagine. You say fear, and we've used the word fear a lot in this.
Yeah.
I'm scared. Everyone's scared. But I'm not scared of taking a chance. I'm scared of not taking a chance.
Yeah.
I'm scared that in 6... No, I'm okay. I've got whiskey, I've got bikes, I've got a nice house. I'm okay. But I don't want to be in the same place that I am now in 6 months' time without having to have tried new things, learned new things, experienced. And with all of those things, you get scrapes and cuts.
Yep.
And you get failure. Oh, that didn't work. We spoke about one of the locations earlier.
Yep.
You've got to go through these things. I'm not scared of trying. I'm scared of not trying, staying still, because when you're stationary,
Complacent.
Yeah.
you become stagnant, stink, and die.
Yes.
That's what happens when you stand still.
Sure.
So try.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how many
The worst place to
people-
be is to be comfortable.
Oh, God, that's a horrible place.
When you find yourself comfortable and you think you've made it, that's bad.
That's
yeah.
terrible.
And you
I don't know what that looks like.
Well, and I'll say too, that's the reason why we left our last company. We were number one consistently every single year after year. We were in a very large company,
Good
1,500
company.
agents,
Yeah.
huge company, but we weren't learning anymore. We weren't growing, and everybody was patting us on the back everywhere we go because we're number one,
Yeah,
number
you're
one,
great,
number one,
you're
no
great.
competition.
Yeah.
And we were like, no, you know what? We can leave where they were rolling out the red carpet for us. They loved us. We were treated well, everything. We were number one in that company year after year after year after year. There was no growth. There was no continued. There was nothing to strive for better. It was just that we could just continue to be number one forever. And we had to take a risk. And one day I have a conversation with this guy and he says, all right, let's go. Same thing with, I hate to say this, but like when my dad passed away at 62, very, very young, got disabled at 60, a fluke accident, got disabled, and then was gone at 62. And I think about that all the time in my life because I think so many people think I'm going to retire at whatever age you say, 60, 65, whatever it is, but you're never guaranteed to get to that age. Keep that in mind, right?
Yeah.
And he would say, and I'm gonna buy my dream home and I'm gonna marry my dream wife. And he was a ladies' man. He loved the ladies everywhere he went. But he didn't do all these things. He was waiting to do them.
Right.
And he never got the opportunity.
No, you can't
Because
Oh,
you
tomorrow's
can't
not guaranteed
wait
for
and
sure.
say, there's those people, I hate to say, that are in bad marriages. There's those people that are in sucky jobs.
Right.
There are those people that I want to become a pilot or I want to become a nurse and just don't take that opportunity and just do it. You get one life. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. You might walk outside and get hit by a bus tomorrow. Yeah. Take the fucking chance today. Take it today. Don't wait till tomorrow.
To your point, the one thing I do know about from Steve and just being around Steve is it's not as far away as you think it is. These people that do these amazing things that you see on TV, these celebrities or this trainer or this person, these people you look up to, they are not that much different than you are.
Yeah.
And once you understand that, the whole thing opens up. Your
For sure.
eyes open up and you see things differently. I didn't read a lot of books before I met you. I read books all the time. I'm constantly feeding myself positive things like you were talking about with the news. The first thing I do when I get up in the morning, I walk from my bedroom into my office, I turn on YouTube, and I find something that's worth listening to every morning because I need to make sure my head's right.
Something that's
before
going to motivate you.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. It's super important. And it kills me when I see people that are struggling and they're not doing the things that they want to do. They don't have the sales numbers that they want. Yesterday at our sales meeting, I got a little annoyed because I see people, even in our own circle, that could do so much more.
Yeah.
With the smallest
100%.
little tweak.
Small
It's
tweak.
like, dude,
Small tweak.
One of the
the
best
door's
things,
right there. Open it.
one of the best things I ever did for myself was get myself a coach.
Right.
Tom Ferry, one of the best real estate coaches in the world.
You
I did
can be on the
elite
show, by the
coaching. And my coach, Justin Baker, love you, dude. He basically said, look, where I was with my old broker, he goes, you've been number one for 15 years. You're not chasing anybody and no one's chasing you. That's why you need
You're
to leave.
content.
Because you're content.
You're content.
You're happy. You got the big office. You got the da-da. You want to know why you're not getting better? That's why.
Yep.
Go somewhere where someone's doing better than you
Yep.
that you can chase
100%.
and where people are right underneath of you chasing you. It's kind of like a double thing there that it
You
really,
got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yep.
Like, as you know, I go to prison a lot.
Yep, you do.
And I actually take entrepreneurs into prison. I actually charge them $500 donation to go to prison with me. And
Yeah.
I'm taking over
I was just
100.
seeing that. You're getting ready to do that.
I'm going another one in November.
Yeah, that looked
And
really interesting.
I take people in there to have conversations with people that they never normally would be in. And, meet people. They're not in there because they got parking tickets.
Yeah.
Some of those people we're conversing with are never coming out.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point. If you can get in and you can find, and the dumb thing is, and this is ridiculous, and I put it on the video, I've had some of my most vulnerable, honest conversations in that environment.
Yeah.
You're out here, we're very guarded.
Right. Yeah.
And you say
We're
about the
watching what
meeting
we're
room,
saying.
How many times in the I know you,
Yep.
and you're a strong, powerful, caring guy. But if you walked up to that person that wasn't hitting their figures and went, dude, you're missing a few things. I could help you. How many of those people, rather than going, great, thank you, help me,
Yeah.
are now fearful?
Yeah.
What does this guy want? Why is he coming over to me? And they do that.
What's his
No,
motive?
I'm
What different do I
fine.
need
It
to
was
do?
a-
I'm good.
It was,
Yep.
I'm good. Look, it was a
Yep.
little dip and stuff like that. I realized that we become good when we surround ourselves with great people.
Yes.
100%.
So true.
And that's the dumb thing. So
100%.
you've got to get uncomfortable. You ain't going to get anywhere, kind of like whistling around on your own little boat ride.
No.
It takes a village.
That's
It takes a
100%
village.
true.
So, Steve, before we wrap this up, or Courtney, anything you want to add about your book, your speaking
Your
engagements,
business,
your
yeah.
business, your speakeasies. Tell us all things before we wrap it up.
Well,
We
you're
wanna know
obviously
more
done
about
with
you.
shit if you don't buy the book. So that's a pretty obvious one there.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I don't care if you kind of like want to get into the. I don't care what you want to do with me
Yeah.
or nothing. But I am annoyed with today's society. I want us to stop laughing at each other. Because 9 times out of 10, when you're laughing at someone, you're actually terrified they're going to do it and make you look a fool.
Yep.
Exactly right.
So that's what I want. Don't buy the book. Don't buy the coach. Don't go to the speakers. Don't do any of those things. But start challenging each other and supporting each other.
Yeah,
and
cheerlead
stop
them,
doing
you
it to
guys.
giggle.
I love
love
it.
that.
Yeah, be positive.
I agree.
Cheerlead
Look for the
other
good in
people's
people.
success.
Stop looking for the bad. It's ridiculous.
Always.
100%.
Well, you guys,
Thank you,
again,
Steve.
I am Jillian Batchelor with
Daryl Hannah.
Daryl Hannah, and we had Courtney Buford and Steve Sims on our guest speaking today. We really appreciate it. We are Vegas Real Talk, and until next week, we'll see you then. Bye,
ya.
guys.
Thank you.